Hey everybody, it's Doug Schauf with the Make Maine Your Home team over at RE/MAX Oceanside. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about selling your house and then moving into retirement home, 65 plus facility, assisted living, whatever you want to call it, moving into that. So let's do this. All right, everybody, like I said, we're going to talk about selling your house and then moving into a retirement home. A lot of people have different ways of saying it, assisted living, whatever you want to call it, but moving into that realm of your life. And we're going to try to shine some light on just some tips and tricks to be prepared for that move, to hopefully help you out if you're making that move. First off, probably the hardest thing to do is just picking the right community for yourself. You know, you're going to want to go and tour a lot of these properties. You know, obviously you're going to want to check the cleanliness, the friendliness, make sure that they offer activities that you're going to enjoy. Do your research, check them out, go visit them, see like what level of care they might offer too, depending on if you do need some assisted living, make sure it's going to meet your needs. Again, just kind of do your research, check them out, and look at a lot of them. You know, we always recommend that. Just go out there and look at a lot of them. That way you get a feel for it. And visit it again and again and again. You know, if you find like one or two that you're kind of like, hey, I like those, go back a couple times. You know, check them out. Really do your research there. Here's a good tip is try to focus on the positives. It's easier said than done. You're moving into hopefully a better quality of life, you know, a place where you're not going to have to manage and take care of your housing. So all that's, you know, kind of taken care of for you. So you don't have to worry about those types of things anymore. So try to start to look at it that way, that it's going to be a better place for you. Ultimately, you're not going to have to worry about shoveling the driveway, mowing the lawn, and oh crap, there's a roof leak, things like that. So there's a lot of positives to taking that next step, even though it's extremely stressful, and I get that. Here's a good tip. Pack with a purpose. I love this. Like when you're downsizing, get some help if you need it. You know, a lot of these senior living facilities, they have people that can help with that move. Get that help. Don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. Get that help and pack with a purpose. Make sure you're organized and all that. You can bring in, you know, maybe, you know, family, friends, neighbors, things like that to help yourself downsize and get that help. You're going to need it and you're going to want it. You're going to be happy that you asked for it. And take your time packing. Here's a good tip. Just take your time with it. Hopefully there's no rush. And when you're selling your house, you know, us as real estate brokers, we can work with you to make sure that you do have the time needed to do that. Remember, when you are talking to your real estate broker, if you do have a house to sell, talk about what kind of time you think you're going to need. Go bigger. You know what I mean? If you're like, hey, I'm going to need a month, maybe we should talk about 45 or 60 days just to be safe, you know, to make sure that you have the time to do that. Start small. When it comes to packing and all that stuff, start small and commit to maybe packing just an hour a day. Take breaks. You know, there's no reason to make this, you know, overwhelming. Just go like, you know, small steps and set some deadlines and be on schedule. And if you start falling behind, no worries, we can adjust, or you can adjust. And that kind of comes in to make sure that you're asking for that help that is maybe available to you. Next thing, get a notebook. Make sure that you're jotting down any kind of notes, you know, record any kind of memories that you want to remember, make lists of your belongings, you know, write down any questions that might come up. You know, if you're anything like me, if something pops in your head, you got to write it down. Otherwise you might forget. So write down any questions as they come up. Make sure you carry around a notebook, keep good track of that. So then when you finally make that move, you can remember all those questions and all that kind of stuff that you want to take care of. Now, whenever you're making a move, wherever you're going, if you take medications, make sure that you sort that. You transfer your prescriptions to maybe the pharmacy closer to where you're moving. You know, start to make all those arrangements too. And again, if there's people that can help you with that, maybe your doctor's office or your nurse, get that help with that sort of thing. But make sure that you're taking care of that so you don't skip any medications that you might need to take. Make sure you have a good folder for all your important documents. Create like a box or a folder, or how, you know, if you got a lot of paperwork, a whole file cabinet for it. But make sure that you're, you know, any documents that are important, make sure you're filing that away and keeping that close and keeping that organized. Update your address. You know, again, just like any move, forward your mail and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're on top of that. The facility that you're moving to can probably help you with that as well, and your family can help. A lot of these places will have floor plans that you can look at, you know, on a piece of paper. So you can kind of remember, like, as you're packing things up, you can have a floor plan so you can kind of, hey, I'm going to put stuff here and there, and then that way you can pack accordingly. If you have any pets, make sure you're asking them about pets. And again, can't stress this enough. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Last but not least, try to make it fun. You're going through a lot. It's stressful to make this kind of move. It's very, very hard to make a move. We get that. So try to have some fun. Try to make sure you take lots of breaks. Go out to dinner sometimes. Just have some fun through this process and try to make it as enjoyable as possible. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Send me an email or a call or anything like that. And remember, if you make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone.